Klay Thompson looks like an absolute shell of his former self. The Warriors are losing game after game, and a big reason is a lack of scoring behind Steph Curry. Now, people are saying the unthinkable.
It's actually time for Golden State to move on from Klay Thompson. I think this marriage has ran its course, and I think Klay need a fresh start with a new organization.
And you might say, oh, that's just Kendrick Perkins. He says a lot of things. But Perk is far from the only person saying this. Klay is up for an extension, and it was leaked he wants a max contract. Of course, that's not realistic, but how much of a pay cut will he take? It's gotten so bad that a Klay Thompson trade wouldn't even be about Klay Thompson. His salary would just be used to make the trade work. For example, to get Zach LaVine, it could be Zach and Javon Carter for Klay, Jonathan Kuminga, and control of 2 first-round picks. But the Bulls don't even care about Klay there. It's about Kuminga and the picks. So with him dragging the team down, will they trade Klay Thompson? Well, one guy who saw this coming was Bob Myers. He was the Golden State GM from 2012 to 2023. He didn't draft Steph, Klay, and Draymond, but they won every chip together. That creates deep emotional bonds. Remember him breaking down when KD tore his Achilles?
He's one of the most misunderstood people.
And Bob knew he would have a tough emotional decision to make on Klay. So he just quit the team.
Well, this is why I left, first of all. A lot of times people will say it's just business. But this is not a just business situation. This guy, there's going to be a statue of this player outside of Chase Center.
Exactly! This would be like seeing Hakeem Olajuwon in a Raptors jersey, or Knicks legend Patrick Ewing on the Magic. Except both of those things actually happened. Once in a while, a franchise legend ends his career on a different team, and Klay could be next. To understand how complicated this is, you have to remember one thing. No one talks about Klay's journey. Everyone knows about Steph. Underrated in high school, the bum ankles. What about Klay? Well, they drafted him in 2011, 2 years after Steph. The same year, they hired Jerry West as head advisor to the front office. Klay's comp was like a Kyle Korver, but his game evolved past that the first 3 years. Look at Klay shutting down prime Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. That is Kawhi Leonard level perimeter defense. But instead of just being a 3-and-D player, his chemistry and skill made him and Steph the Splash Brothers. Klay shot over 40% from deep on over 4 attempts the first 3 years. Only players to do that, Anthony Morrow, who fell off afterward, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson. Not Reggie Miller, not Ray Allen. 3 guys ever. But the Dubs were still struggling. Under coach Mark Jackson, they lost in the first round to the Clippers in 2013. Klay's rookie contract was about to end, so they had a decision. Do we trade him for someone else? I mean, at the time, people thought, you don't need 2 guards. You need an elite big to pair with an elite guard. And they already had Steph. So Bob Myers called Minnesota to trade Klay for Kevin Love. The owner, Joe Lacob, was on board as well. The deal was virtually done when Jerry West stepped in and said, I will quit if you trade Klay Thompson. Newly hired Steve Kerr agreed. So they hung up the phone, killed the deal, and Love went to Cleveland. But Klay took that confidence and made a leap. The first time we saw it was in the summer with Team USA at the World Cup. He won gold as their best player over young James Harden. Then, in the 2015 season, while everyone focused on MVP Steph, Klay made him pay. In late January against the Kings, he scored 52 points, including an NBA record 37 in the third quarter. Could not miss. And he stayed hot the next 5 years. In 2016, Klay casually dropped 60 points in 29 minutes. Let's say it again. 60 in 29 minutes. 8 threes, 11 dribbles. Iconic. In the conference finals, Dubs faced elimination in Game 6, but Klay saved them, exploding for 41 points. They beat OKC in Game 7, which led to Kevin Durant joining the team. In 2018, Game 6 again, Rockets up 3-2, but Klay hits 9 of 14 threes, scoring 35 to force Game 7 where they beat Houston. Without Game 6 Klay, they never reached the finals and win that 3rd ring. So you can see how impossible it would be to trade Klay Thompson. He has meant everything to this franchise. It's not gonna happen, but they do need more offense. Steph can't do this by himself, and to get a star, you need to trade a big contract, which is obviously Chris Paul. Are you kidding me? We knew that was a possibility when they got CP. And if Zach LaVine or someone becomes available, Chris Paul is in that deal, not Klay Thompson. But he does need to take that pay cut. That is actually the one way that Klay ends his career somewhere else. And right now, he's acting real insecure about his downfall, which is normal. I get it. I mean, if you were once the man and now you're not, you don't just say, oh, well, I guess I'll go eat at the little kids' table. See you guys. No, you fight that. It's like when Devin Booker told him he's washed, so Klay showed him his 4 rings. That was a moment of insecurity. Then he hears Charles Barkley say this on national TV.
There was a time when Klay Thompson was the best two-way guard in the NBA. And he's not the same guy, and that's because of injuries. Now, is he done? No, I don't think he's done. I think he's slowing down and is catching up with. That's why he's frustrated.
That's just the truth. It's obvious. But the way Klay responded is key to if he will take that pay cut or leave the Dubs.
Oh, he's not the same as he was prior to the injuries. Like, duh. It hurt hearing that because it's like, man, I put in so much freaking effort to get back to this point. Hard to even put into words what I had to do to be the player I am today. I don't know. It just hurt my heart hearing that. But you know what? I'm going to internalize it, and it's going to be fuel for me to be even better.
And if he takes a pay cut, he is admitting Devin Booker was right, Charles Barkley was right. If he takes half the money, he's half the player? No! Dude is a competitor and will fight to the end. Or maybe he wakes up to the fact that being 34 years old with an Achilles and ACL tear actually matters. He bounced back after the Devin Booker thing to lead the league in threes last year, but in the playoffs, he was awful. Shot 4 for 19 in Game 7 against the Kings. Thank goodness Steph was on fire. But against the Lakers, Klay couldn't make a bucket the final 4 games, and that's continued this season. But even still, I think because of who Klay is, the Warriors would rather trade Chris Paul to get another star and let Klay walk for nothing. But in the offseason, it'll be up to Klay to humble himself and take less money. If he doesn't, it'll mean his ego was too big and it ended the Splash Brothers, not the other way around. This happened with Tony Parker. DeJounte Murray was coming up on the Spurs, so they asked Tony to take a little less money, but also come off the bench. And he said, me? A Hall of Famer? No, I would rather end my career somewhere else wearing a different jersey. It's hard to imagine with Klay, but it has happened before. So look, Klay getting traded is fake news, but speaking of fake news, have you seen this Kelly Oubre drama? There's a chance he didn't get hit by a car and is lying? Now, I'm not saying that's true, but the details coming out are pretty scandalous.